Hello, everybody. Greetings from the other side of the pond. This is Geoff from England. Here's my story. I was the not disabled one. I had my dad, my mum, my brother Mick in a loving, stable, skilled working class home here in Southampton, England. We lived in the same house for the first 14, 15 years of my life. Then I went off to university to study social work in 1968. I qualified in 1972. And then in November 1973, I started with this weird pain in my left hip. Well, that went on and it went on and it went on. And I was limping everywhere. Now, my dad was disabled because he lost his leg in the war and he limped everywhere. My mum and my brother had a congenital disfigurement, which it wasn't invisible. It was one of those disabilities that is something that you predominantly see. So then I get this weird pain in my left hip. I don't know what it is. And it happens when I wear tight bell-bottom Levi jeans. Okay, so now anybody who was there in the 1970s knows that if you wanted to get the girl, you had to wear tight bell-bottom Levi jeans. Well, I wasn't chasing after them. I was limping after them. How uncool is that? So I then had to wait 18 months even to see a consultant in a hospital, a doctor in a hospital over here. Didn't get anything out of it. No diagnosis, no medication, told to go swimming, which did help a bit, but the pain carried on. And I know that there's going to be probably thousands of you out there who identify with that story of diagnostic limbo, waiting for diagnosis. And that, for me, turned into 36 years, from 1973, November, until December 2009. So for me, it's going to be 50 years of AS symptoms this coming November. Then the pain moved to my right hip, and I'm like, what is happening? I tried everything. And unfortunately, and a lot of people again will identify this, I learned a lot the hard way. I smoked cigarettes as my only pleasure. And I learned that when I smoked, it hurt. And whenever I stopped smoking, every time I stopped smoking, it stopped hurting. But I confess, I didn't finally stop completely until diagnosed in 2009. How daft is that? But I know a few people with AS, as I insist on calling us, who are stuck in that same addiction trap. And my saving grace was starting yoga in 1990, 17 years into my lifelong AS journey. My class, it was just a weekly class at 5 o'clock on a Friday. You'd think everybody'd be really exhausted by then. But I loved it because by 5:20 on a Friday, I was feeling a lot better. And the pain was relieved, the stiffness was relieved. I hadn't a clue why. But by 2008, I had to stop yoga and much else. I couldn't lie on my back. I couldn't stretch to anything like what I used to. And it turns out I was scoring 8 out of 10 on what's called the BASDI. That's the Bath Ankylosing Spondylitis Disease Activity Index. And that's an assessment which is globally used and heavily research evidence. So it's really good. 8 out of 10. That hurts. But that very quickly led to being diagnosed. And if you can believe this, I was actually elated at being diagnosed because after 37 years, it was finally making sense. I had a name for it. I could research it, find out about it, and take action. So there I am, 8 out of 10, but I'm prescribed Arcoxia, a medication, an anti-inflammatory, a non-steroid anti-inflammatory, and I divide my life up into before NSAIDs and after NSAIDs. It was that big an effect on me. And just injecting a bit of hope here for you, my BASDAI score came down from 8 out of 10 to 2 out of 10, and it stayed at 2 out of 10 for the last 12 years. So that's good news, isn't it? So here I am at the age of 74, and in 3 months' time, it'll be the 50th, let's say the word anniversary, of my first AS symptoms. How should I celebrate? Well, it's been an okay life, really, I have to say. I am disabled, like my dad, my mum, and my bruv, but I still have an active life, and I hope my story gives you hope. I would also like just to say that what has inspired me is working with Jamie Boda to build Yoga for AS. I love teaching yoga modified for AS, and it's my project for my 70s. So maybe we should have a Yoga for AS 50th anniversary party